Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. So today we're going to head down to Pick and Pull. They're having a 50% off sale, so we're going to see if we can find some 5.3s or 6.0s. I've never found a 6.0 there. They're normally gone pretty quick, but last time I was there was like 5.3s. So we're going to go pull a couple of those. Really don't need a lot of tools. They have engine hoist there. I have a Husky tool set. Take the impact. 13, 15, 17 ratcheting wrenches. These things are awesome. Fuel line disconnects and my fancy lift plate. That's pretty much it. So go pull a couple engines. I mean, at least one, maybe two. So we will see you guys down at Pick and Pull. It's not looking so good. We got out here in the Tahoe. I pulled the harness off of the whole car's gone. So we're gonna check the aisles, see if we can find another 5.3 somewhere. So we were only able to find one. Super butthurt, they're all gone. This one's pretty gummed up, but we're gonna be rebuilding it anyway, it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna go grab the engine hoist, pull this thing out. Alright, we got it out. Fought us tooth and nail, but we got it. We've been at it for what, about an hour and a half?
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. We're thinking about taking the transmission, we decided not to because we really don't know how many miles are on this thing, and it's 4-wheel drive, we need a 2-wheel drive, so. But we got a 5.3.
Yay.
So we kind of struck out. There's only one 5.3 there, which is weird because every time I've been there, there's been like 5 of them, but we got one. It's kind of gummed up. It's definitely going to be going to the machine shop. It's not going to be, drop in and ran because there's water in the heads and whatnot. So we're going to take it all apart, clean it, probably bore it over. Might as well. But yeah, at least we didn't strike out completely. So this one's pretty dirty, like I said earlier, but we're going to take it to the machine shop and whatnot, get everything cleaned up. So I'm going to go to my brother-in-law's house and get the engine hoist, the one I've used in all my other videos, bring it back so we can sit on our engine stand. So yeah, let's go do that. Okay, we are back at home. Got everything. What is that? Huh. So I checked the VIN while we were there. The VIN says it's a 5.3, however this one has the 862 heads. But from what I've been told, these are actually more preferred than the 706 that come on the 5.3s and 4.8s. But yeah, you can see it is pretty gunky. This person had an oil leak and they just didn't care. But like we said, it's all getting tore down and rebuilt. I'll probably tear it down and just see what it looks like on the inside. Might as well. Yeah, it feels good to have an engine back in the garage now that we have room for it. This is kind of taking me back to my days when I got the 6.0 for the black truck. You see we got all the accessories pulled off. I pulled all the sensors out, the oil pressure sensor, cam position sensor, crank position sensor, took all the wires that somebody clipped off, transmission bracket lines. You can get a plug for this or just leave it. You can see that. That's the oil level sensor, so if it's low it throws a check engine light, but for a standalone you really don't need it. Yeah, I wasn't kidding, this thing was gunked up. But it was half off today, so I guess I can't really complain too much. Water pump seems like it's alright. I just pulled the crank bolt out and tried to get the balancer off, or the crank pulley. Start tearing it apart, see what it looks like on the inside. I suppose I should elaborate real quick. This engine is probably going to be going in my wife's 65 pickup. I wanted to get two, one for her truck and one for the Yukon. I got to thinking about it, and for as much as a low mileage 5.3 or 6.0 goes for online with the harness and everything, I want to see if it's cheaper to buy one like this. I wouldn't say it's junk, but it's not drop-in ready. It needs to be rebuilt, gone through, cleaned up and everything. So I got this engine, so blocking heads, only accessory we got was the water pump, for 170 bucks, something like that, which is a pretty damn good deal for even just a block. So we got parts we can reuse as long as there's no bearings that are spun. The crank can be polished up. These rods are plenty good enough for what people run turbos on these things with these rods. So for what her truck is going to be doing, that is fine. Get these heads ported by Chewy, of course. Throw a new set of springs on it. Probably just surface the heads. Not going for a super high compression on her truck. Probably about 10 to 1 in case we want to add boost later. Maybe like 9.8 to 1. Not like my truck, it's like 10.8 to 1. But I'm just about to pull the heads off. I got everything taken apart. This time I'm being smart, keeping everything. Here's the head bolts, push rods. I'll probably end up getting new sensors, the cam and crank sensor. Timing cover bolts, flex plate, bolts for the two sensors I just said. Don't remember what that one was for, but keeping it. Water pump bolts. See, these ones get kind of rusted. Probably just get new ones of those. So it definitely needs to be rebuilt. It had water in here, but you can see the rusting. Not like flaking off rust though, which is good because we're going to take off quite a bit anyway. We're going to bore this over to LS1, LS6, bore size, 3.898, right around there, or maybe like 40 over. I'm not sure. We're going to find a good set of pistons, and then we'll take it to the machine shop and have them match the bores to the pistons we're getting. Maybe see if they can balance the crank with the rods and the pistons. I think that'd be kind of cool. It would be a lot more convenient just to buy an engine that's already ready to go, but this is going to be cool because we can, buy new parts and make sure that it is done correctly. I'm not going to have an issue later on. We put it together and it's going to run for a long time, as opposed to buying an engine like I did on my truck, my 6.0, which I took a risk. I really did. I just bought a low mileage LQ4 6.0. I freshened it up a little bit, while I had it out. I put new gaskets in it, put different heads on it, oil pump, things like that. But I could have had a problem, and I still might have a problem. I could have had a spun bearing, could have had bearings were shot, where I had a whole bunch of rods knocking and everything. But I lucked out. But this was a lot cheaper of an option just to buy this, and you can kind of little by little, get it machined, get the heads machined, buy this, buy that. So we'll see how much it costs when we're all done as opposed to what I did. My 6-liter alone with harness and everything cost me $1,900, which is kind of high, but for for 80,000 mile 6-liter, that's for online. It's probably what you're going to pay. You can definitely find better deals in like the towns you're from if somebody is just getting rid of one or whatnot, or out of a wrecked truck. But this is the route we're going. If it works out pretty well, ends up being relatively cheap, then we might do that for the Yukon as well. It'd be kind of cool to take the 5.7 out of the Yukon, put a 5.7 back in, even though it's an LS 5.7, not a 350. But if it ends up being close to the same, we might just get a 6 liter for the Yukon. A 6 liter would be pretty sweet. Either way, it's going to be 5.7 or 6.0 for the Yukon, but for her truck, the 65, it's getting a bored over 5.3. So I think this is where we're going to end today's project. We got a mess going on, so I got some cleaning up to do. I was not able to find out how many miles are on this thing. Not that it really matters, but I was just looking at the journals on the factory cam. Seems like this may have overheated or froze or something. They popped the freeze plug and they had to plug it with one of these deals. I'll take that off and have a real plug put back in. No reason to keep that in there. But as always, thank you guys for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. It's Endless Wishlist 6.0. Take care, and I will see you guys next time.